Other members of the delegations to join General Sergeant Dr. Gideon, please. Here, my brother, His Excellency Ambassador Red Hussein Rameto. Ambassador Red, please.
Excellencies, dear friends, on behalf of the participants from the Ethiopian government in these peace talks, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to the African high-level panel led by His Excellency former President Olusegun Obasanjo, the AU High Representative for the Horn of Africa, His Excellency former President of Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta, and Her Excellency former Deputy President of South Africa, Dr. Mzili, President of South Africa and AU member panel of the WISE. We've benefited from your immense leadership, experience and wisdom over the course of these talks and in helping us get to South Africa. In these talks, you offered your guidance and support to the two sides. We are proud that you've shown the world the reservoir of wisdom in our continent and our capacity to resolve our problems. We are pleased that you've accepted to support the implementation of the agreement we've signed today. Your work started with the initiative of the chairperson of the African Union Commission, His Excellency Mr. Musa Faki Mohamed. We applaud his vision and leadership. Commissioner Bankole, Adoye, Dr. Alhaj Sajoba, and their colleagues deserve our appreciation for their tireless work. Our deep appreciation goes also to His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, the President of the Republic of South Africa, and indeed to the people of the Republic of South Africa for their generous hospitality. We are grateful to Her Excellency Dr. Nadeli Pandor, South Africa's Minister of Department of International Relations and Cooperation, for the excellent facilities she put at the disposal of the talks. We are indebted to all her colleagues for putting an extra hours to ensure the conditions are for the peace talks to continue and reach these positive conclusions. We thank the observers, Dr. Wekina Geweyo, the Secretary General of IGAD, Sana Tete, the Special Envoy for the Secretary General of the United Nations for the Horn of Africa, and Ambassador Mike Hammer, the U.S. Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, for accompanying and supporting these peace talks. We shall count on their continued support to Ethiopia to quickly move towards rebuilding communities affected by this conflict. The level of destruction is immense, and thus that needs are massive. We thank our brothers from the other side also for their constructive engagement to allow the country to put this tragic period of conflict behind us. It is now for all of us to honor this agreement. We must be true to the letter and the spirit of this agreement. The people of Ethiopia expected more than the text of this agreement. They demand peace and harmony. They desire development. They have charted a promising and bright future. The government on its part will take various proactive measures to nurture democracy and inclusive development in the country. Our democratic institutions have started delivering tangible progress. We will continue the institutional strengthening process. We have charted an inclusive national dialogue process to put Ethiopia on an even stronger foundation. In the course of this conflict, we've also witnessed a complicated picture of the relations with various foreign actors. Our sisters and brothers from Africa remain true to their principled stance that Ethiopians must own and resolve their differences. They advised and encouraged us to reach this day. We hope others will learn that such a generous and firm direction is the one to take in dealing with such delicate situations. Friends of Ethiopia deserve also our special thanks. It is now time to revitalize our relations with our partners and put them on a solid footing based on principles of international law governing international relations. We look forward to exploring ways of reinvigorating our ties with all our partners. We thank you all for your patience and support of Ethiopia, and I invite you to visit us and admire the wonders of our country while we keep on joining hands for our future betterment and enjoy also our hospitality of our people. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my brother Ambassador Redwan. At this point is an opportunity to also call on my other brother, the head of delegation for the Tigrayan People's Liberation Front, Mr. ጌታቸው Reda. ጌታቸው.
Thank you, Excellency, Mr. Olusegun Obasanjo, former President of the Republic of Nigeria and Chair of the AU High-Level Panel. His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, former President of the Republic of Kenya. Her Excellency Madam Fuzuli Mlambo, former Deputy President of South Africa. Her Excellency Dr. Pandor, Minister of International Cooperation and Foreign Affairs of South Africa. Excellencies, partners, brothers and sisters. I would like to thank the AU and the AU High-Level Panel for having conducted a successful negotiation the last 10 days. Obviously, the last 10 days were not a particularly exciting experience in the sense that there was so much haggling over what would otherwise be considered trivial issues. But ultimately, the fact that we have reached a point where we have now signed an agreement speaks volumes about the readiness on the part of the two sides to lay the past behind them and to chart a new path of peace development. Making peace obviously has proved more difficult and more intractable and elusive than presiding over the killing and destruction, the killing of women and children and destruction of property. The war in our part of the country, the last 2 years, has claimed the lives of hundreds of thousands of people and has turned Ethiopia, once in the cusp of great economic progress, into a bad parody of itself and caused tremendous suffering to the people of Tigrayan. Our people have been killed not only through bullets, but also for lack of food and medicine. Our children do not go to schools. Our hospitals are not functioning because of the war. We have always felt this war was imposed on us, and we have always been ready to do everything in our power to stop this war. Now that we are here to sign an agreement, to at least explore the opportunity to see if we can make peace, and it is still within reach. It will come as a relief not only to the people of Tigray, but also to the entire Ethiopian population. And I hope, it's my hope and expectation that the two parties will continue to honor their commitment and redouble their efforts to make sure that the agreement they have signed is implemented and in a manner that satisfies the interest of our people. As you know, the humanitarian crisis has been particularly dire, and the fighting in the last 70 days has claimed for more lives. As we speak, as we are here ready to sign an agreement, thousands of combatants from both sides, as well as civilians, are losing their lives. So it is incumbent upon us not only to sign this agreement, but also to make sure that it's immediately implemented, and the follow-up activities that are required to make sure such an agreement is implemented to the fullest extent possible are carried so in earnest. And on our part, we are ready to do everything in our capacity to expedite the implementation of this agreement, and it's our hope and expectation that our brothers from Addis Ababa will do the same. Obviously, like I said, we cannot solve our problems when there is too much testosterone in the room. Obviously, some of you have been complaining that the delegates from both sides have little in the way of feminine presence, and people advise us that probably the presence of women would have made a difference as far as making peace is concerned. So when there is too much testosterone, And when there is too much willingness on the part of the two sides to fight till the hell freezes over, it is the children and women who find themselves at the receiving end of the suffering. And it's unfortunate for myself and my comrades here who have once served in the same government. It took traveling all the way to South Africa. I'm not complaining that I traveled to South Africa. I have always loved being in South Africa. But it is quite tragic. It took a haggling of several months for us to come together and explore an opportunity for peace. Now that Chief Obasanjo, President Kenyatta, had immense, as Red1 has pointed out, and the destruction in Tigray has been even more particularly immense. Painful concessions, because addressing the pains of our people is far more important than the kinds of concessions we have made. Yes, we have made concessions because we have to build trust, and we have to make sure that every one of us builds on that trust. But like President Obasanjo clearly pointed out, to sign an agreement is one thing, but to implement it is entirely different. And our focus should be on implementing it, not because we are wary of fighting, but rather because our people deserve every ounce of it. It's our hope and expectation that both sides will remain faithful to the commitments they have entered. And it's also our hope and expectation that the verification and monitoring mechanism we are going to put in place will be an ironclad one, and the international community needs to throw its weight behind such a process so that we can avoid a relapse into the kind of traditional proclivity to resolve differences by shooting at each other. So I hope our effort to silence the guns will be followed through in earnest, and our people deserve all the peace in the world, and we need to rebuild communities which have already been shattered as a result of such a bloody war that has continued for the last 2 years and still continues. I know there are spoilers from nearby, from inside our ranks, from the neighborhood, and we also know they would not stop at nothing to sabotage our peacemaking efforts, and it is only through our collective resolve that we can hold these spoilers in check, whether they are from the entire neighborhood or from within our ranks. We have to tell them that there is no substitute for peace, that our people deserve all the peace in the world. All our mothers and sisters and our children deserve all the peace in the world. And for us, we are ready to do everything to make sure that no effort on the part of spoilers would set us back on our commitment for peace. Our decision to silence the guns should also serve as a basis for a continued political engagement that will help us resolve overarching political problems that have bedeviled the nation. And I know as long as we have this pause, as long as we continue to renew our commitments for peace, we still can find it within our hearts to mend fence and to resolve political differences. And ultimately, it is only through political dialogue that problems of political nature can be resolved, and that commitment should always be there. Last but not least, I would like to thank once again all the people who have been involved in making this happen. More importantly, the high-level panel has been very instrumental, and I would also like to thank Hannah Tete, Workna Gawayo, and Mike Hammer for taking all the pain to bear with us while we are haggling among each other, not to solve our own problems. Hopefully, they will remain engaged in the entire process, and we have every confidence in the panel and in the African Union and their commitment to carry through their responsibilities, and of course to make sure that our agreement which we are signing today becomes implemented and to the fullest extent possible. Let's take this opportunity to once again rededicate ourselves to rebuilding our communities and to seek political and peaceful solutions to the problems that our communities face. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ጌታቸው. At this point, I would like to call on the representative of the observers, my sister, Excellency, the UN Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, Madam Hannah Tete. Madam Hannah, please. President Basanjo, President Uhuru Kenyatta, Madam Mzile. This brings us to one of the most important and critical points in today's signing ceremony. The parties, Excellencies, have agreed to issue a joint statement, and as a demonstration of their commitment and the bonds that bind them as brothers and sisters, is a 2-page document with 12 paragraphs. They have divided them evenly and will have Ambassador Redwan Rameto read the first part of the joint statement, and that will be followed by Mr. ጌታቸው Reda, which will bring us to the signing ceremony. So without further ado, I would like to call on Ambassador Redwan for the first part of the joint statement between the government of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia and the Tigray People's Liberation Front. Ambassador, over to you, please.
Thank you, Dr. Ba. In fact, I offered ጌታቸው read the first page, but he delegated me to begin, so I will happily begin reading. Joint statement between the government of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia and the Tigray People's Liberation Front, TPLF. As per Article 3 of the Agreement for Lasting Peace and Permanent Cessation of Hostilities, the representatives of the government of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia and the TPLF have agreed to announce to the people of Ethiopia and the rest of the world that after 10 days of intensive negotiations have concluded a peace agreement. Second, we've agreed to permanently silence the guns and end the 2 years of conflict in northern Ethiopia. 3, the conflict has brought a tragic degree of loss of lives and livelihoods, and it is in the interest of the entire people of Ethiopia to leave the chapter of conflict behind and live in peace and harmony. Fourth, it is fundamental that we reaffirmed our commitment to safeguarding the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ethiopia and to upholding the Constitution of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. Thus, Ethiopia has only one national defense force. We've also agreed on a detailed program of disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration for the TPLF combatants, taking into account the security situation on the ground. Fifth, we've agreed that the government of Ethiopia will further enhance its collaboration with humanitarian agencies to continue expediting aid to all those in need of assistance. Sixth, we've agreed to implement transitional measures that include the restoration of constitutional order in Tigray region, a framework for the settlement of political difference, and a transitional justice policy framework to ensure accountability, truth, reconciliation, and healing.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Redwan. Mr. ጌታቸው.
So, to start implementing these undertakings without delay, we have agreed to stop all forms of conflicts and hostile propaganda. We'll only make statements to support the expeditious implementation of the agreement. We urge Ethiopians in the country and abroad to support this agreement, stop voices of division and hate, and mobilize their resources for economic recovery and rehabilitation of social bonds. 8, the government of Ethiopia will continue the efforts to restore public services and rebuild the infrastructures of communities affected by the conflict. Students must go to school, farmers and pastoralists to their fields, and public servants to their offices. The agreement requires the support of the public for its smooth implementation. This is a new and hopeful chapter in the history of the country. 9, we express our gratitude to all actors contributing to the success of this endeavor, in particular, the African Union Commission Chairperson, the African high-level panel led by His Excellency former President Olusegun Obasanjo, supported by His Excellency former President Uhuru Kenyatta and Her Excellency Dr. Funguzile Bilambo, former Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa. We thank the Chairperson of the African Union Commission, His Excellency Mr. Musa Faki Mohammed, Commissioner Bankole Adoye, and his colleagues for their tireless work during these talks. We rely on their continued support as we implement the agreement. 10. We thank His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, the President of the Republic of South Africa, and Her Excellency Dr. Naledi Pandor, the Minister for the Department of International Relations and Cooperation of South Africa, for the excellent facilities they put at the disposal of these talks and their words of encouragement to the parties toward the successful results. We are indebted for the hospitality accorded to us by the people and government of the Republic of South Africa. 11. We are grateful to the people of Ethiopia for encouraging these talks and patiently waiting for the outcome. We are confident that they will embrace the results of these talks and ensure their timely implementation. 12. Finally, we are confident that friends of Ethiopia and members of the diplomatic community will lend their support in rebuilding infrastructure in affected communities and the economic recovery of the country. We call on all types of media outlets to support peace, reconciliation, unity and prosperity in Ethiopia. Jointly delivered at Pretoria, the Republic of South Africa, 2nd November 2022.
Thank you very much, Ambassador রেডওয়ান and ጌታቸው. Excellencies, with your permission and that of the Minister, may we give them a round of applause. Excellencies, at this point, we now have the formal signing ceremony. So we'll bring the table to the front, and I would like to invite Mr. ጌታቸው Reda and Ambassador ሬደዋን, if they can come to the table for the signing of this very important peace agreement. Excellencies, may I crave your indulgence and ask if you could come in front of the tables. I think that would be, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. May I now invite the
guys.
Thank you very much. May I now invite the three observers, Dr. Wokne, Madam Tete, and Mike Hammer, to join. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Please, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. So we remain in that formation, and then the observers will join, and the African Union as well. The observers and the African Union. Thank you very much. May I now humbly also request I think we are done with the group photo with the observers. Do we have a photo? Now, Excellencies, I think I owe it to my team. They've worked so hard. May I request a special photo for my team and the panel and the two heads of delegations, and later on everyone else will join. This is a humble request. So can I call on my team, Ambassador Farah and others, if you can come to join this family photo. Thank you.
Welcome.